Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a tip for nothing. That's how I usually tip. Please yourselves. No, now, look, if anyone asks you to be a spy, say no. Don't get involved. Believe me, at least, nothing but trouble, and I know, because they asked me. They did. Your pardon you, they did. No, I tell you what happened. No, you see. It's he that died. I was sitting at home one night, placidly knitting, and there was this knock, you see. So I went to the door, opened the door, and this man stood there. He said, Mrs. Howard. So I put the knitting down quick, I can tell you. I said, no, Mr. Howard. He said, oh, yes. He said, I've been sent along by higher authorities, he said. They want you to come and join us. So I said, now, look. I said, I admire your work very much. But I said, really, I can't afford to waste every Sunday morning on street corners playing trumpets. He said, oh, no. We're not the Salvation Army. So I thought, well, that only leaves the Liberal Party. He said, no, you see, British espionage. I am a spy. Well, I was flabbergasted. My flabber has never been so ghastly. Well, for the past 3 years, he'd been delivering my bread. He was my baker. He said, no, I'm not really a baker. He said, that's just a cover. I'm really a spy. And of course, that explained it, you see. It all fell into place. All those plans of Russian rockets I kept finding in my French rolls. And why my bill was always in code, because it takes me 3 weeks to work out what I owe him. And then anyone's paying in rubles. I always thought it was just bad baking, because I realized now it was bad spying. Anyway, he said, we've been observing you, and he said, we think that you could be of some small service to the community. You see, that says a lot for what I've been doing up to now, doesn't it? Anyway, he said, it'll all be arranged. Number 1 will come round and see you and explain your duties. So, of course, you see, they do it so cleverly, so secretly. I was sitting at home next day, there was a knock at the door, so I went to the door, opened the door, and while I was there, 2 men climbed in my back window, so he went through all the wardrobes, all the drawers, under the bed, in the cushions, everywhere, and climbed out again with me piggy bank and a silver ashtray. Never seen them since, no. Nothing to do with spying, just burglars, cheeky devils. Anyway, eventually, number 1 came round, you see, and he said, it seems to us that you have a lot of spare time. He said, you seem to travel a lot and don't seem to do a great deal when you get there. That's my act he's talking about. He said, we think you could help us, little ways, like, for instance, he said you could pass on messages or receive information. So I said, well, now look, how much? I said, let's get the money straight. But he said, you're doing this for Her Majesty. I said, look, I will do this for Her Majesty as long as she's on the back of a couple of fivers. He said, now look, I must warn you, it could be very dangerous, because he said, they, he said, will stop at nothing to discredit you. They'll use all sorts of immoral and depraved methods. So I said, don't anticipate, wait a minute. I said, if I join you, I said, well, do you think because I was getting the hang of it now, I said, they'll try and corrupt me. I said, with low bribes and unscrupulous women, and that is a guess. I said, well, count me in. Well, let's face it, there's nothing like a bit of free depravity, is there? I mean, look at the price you have to pay for it normally. I mean, those what the butler saw machines are threepence now, you know. And it's the same old film. Anyway, listen, no, don't, please, you're tittering now, listen. Naughty tittermongers. No, you see, I was sworn to secrecy, and I put down 7 or 6 deposit on a spy kit. And, listen, and number 1 said to me, now look, he said, you will proceed to Paris, and when you get there, a man will try to contact you. I said, I know it's shocking in Paris these days, isn't it? He said, you will give the password, he said. The sun shall not set on Salford East. So, and he said, your spy kit will be delivered. And it was. Next day I come home, And pinned on the door was a card. British Intelligence Service. Our spy called today but got no reply. Spy kit left in garage. So much for secrecy. Anyway, the next day, I travelled to Paris by air, you see, pretending to be an entertainer, and I landed and I walked down. How dare you! So anyway, I walked down the stairs of the tarmac, and this man was a man there with his Mac, a raincoat and a hat. So I said to him, "The sun shall not set on Salford East." Of course, luckily, as usual, of course, got the wrong man, quite the wrong man. He only used 2 words. I'm telling you, there was no reply to those, I'm telling you. In the whole history of mankind, no one has ever devised a suitable reply to the 2 words he used. And all of a sudden, I heard a sound. Psst. And this little man came sidling up. He said, "Psst." I said, "Who is?" He said, please, let us remember where we are. He said, "You must go," he said, "to Belgrade." I'd only just landed in Paris. I didn't land on the floor then. So anyway, I got this plane. I went to Belgrade. I landed. Another man was there, a messenger waiting for me. He said, "You must go to Budapest." So another ticket, another plane on to Budapest. Went to Budapest, landed. Another man was there. He said, "You must go to Istanbul." So another plane, another ticket on to Istanbul. Another man was waiting there. He said, "Return to Paris." And he said, "If you pass go, collect £200. See, so I came back with £200 back to the country. But you see, but the trouble was this. But they sent me in a bill, a bread bill, for £740, 5 and 4. Bread bill. 5 and 4 for the bill, and £740 for the airfare to Paris, Belgrade, Budapest, and one I've missed, Istanbul. Yes. Well, you see, that's the trouble. And of course, I can't complain. That's the trouble, because I'm sworn to secrecy, aren't I? So look, please, don't tell anyone I've told you. Now, promise me you won't, will you? Thank you very much.